So, two levels of sin. One is uppercase sin and lowercase sin. I will expound on this more next week, so in the interest of time. This big sin is the climate. It's the climate or the environment or the atmosphere within which you live. If you live in a family where there's constant fighting, where there's constant alcoholism, where there's domestic violence, sexual abuse and all this, what do you think will be the kind of upbringing the person will have? What kind of upbringing will this person have? Not a good one, right? And yesterday we were in this mass that this newly ordained priest celebrated for the first time, and his sister is a nun from Poland, and she flew from Poland to here just to witness the brother being ordained a priest. So a brother and a sister both have their vocations. What kind of upbringing you think they had? Oh, God. Loving one another. Conducive to the faith. Right? That's the sin. That's the big sin. That's the crime. Look at those people from Israel and Palestine. You know, in Palestine, the small boys, even before they are able to read and write, the first thing that they're being taught, you know what? Is to hate the Jews. You must hate the Jews. Because they killed your parents, they killed your grandparents, they killed this and that. And there's probably to a certain degree on the other side the same thing. So this is carried on perpetually. Next generation is planted that way, to hate the other side. So what will happen? The fight and the battle goes on. Generation after generation after generation. This has been going on for so many centuries. The hatred is there. You follow? That's the sin. Now, the second level, this is the internalization. And do you notice that people, children of movie actors and actresses, they turn out to be actors too? You notice that? Oh, this is the son of that and that actor. Or this daughter of that and that actor. I read in the Reader's Digest many years ago that there's one couple. The husband was a hard criminal. Okay? Hard criminal. You can't count with your fingers the people that he had killed, and how many banks he had robbed, how many women had he assaulted sexually. And the wife is a swindler, a pickpocket, and all kinds of things too. You know what I mean? And you know what? They studied this couple and their children and the grandchildren and so on, up to about four levels down. They mounted about 720 criminals in the whole family line. 720 criminals came from that original couple. That's this. Just to illustrate to you the two levels of sin. The big sin, S-I-N, that's the climbing. That's like the breeding ground. You know what I mean? And then it becomes sin. So big sin becomes lowercase sin. When it's internalized and it's acted upon. If it's acted upon, it becomes sin, small s. That's the difference between big S and small s, sin. And what is sin anyway? Sin is a moral failing. Something is missing. That's sin. Okay? Alright, materials. We're doing June 1st, Wednesday. You know, the book of Acts, you will see the book of Acts on June 18, the entire book. You will see the entire book in 2 hours. The whole book of Acts of the Apostles. And you will see Saint Luke relating to it. I love the book of Acts because the book of Acts actually features the history of the early church. If you read the entire book of Acts, you will see the entire history of the early church. How things came about. And how Catholic it had been from day one. The very same group that Peter led, the apostles, the deacons, and those after them, very Catholic. The ways of doing things, the way they debated things, and the way when Peter speaks, that's the end of the talking. Just as it is now. When the Pope pronounces anything, remember his infallibility. He's infallible when the Pope speaks about matters of faith and morals on his throne, on the seat of Peter. If you go to the Vatican, there's a seat there. That's the seat of Peter. They call it, there's a feast of the seat of Peter. The church celebrates one feast day on the seat of Peter. And so whenever the Pope make pronouncements, dogmas and whatever, sitting on that chair about faith and morals, he's infallible. It's one of the dogmas of the church. And here you see in action. We even feature here the speech of Paul in the Areopagus. That's a place in Greece. He was commenting upon those items that they were worshipping. Of course, false gods. Commentary. Very important. St. Paul was talking to pagans when he said this. Okay? Acts chapter 17. He was talking to pagans. He was not talking to believers. He was talking to pagans. So you must keep that in mind when reading Acts chapter 17. He is definitely explaining the faith to the pagans. Let's see. Commentary 22 to 24. It says, to an unknown God. Everybody has copy, right? St. Paul praises the religious feelings of the Athenians, which lead them to offer worship to God. Problem is, they were sincerely worshiping God, but they were worshiping the wrong God. They were worshiping Jupiter and Zeus. So Paul was criticizing them. No. There's a true God that you need to worship. That's the whole idea of the first reading. Commentary 25. This needs to be highlighted. God does not need man's service and does not depend on man for his well-being and happiness. Okay? If it's part of this too, yesterday's gospel. The Bible says you must build your house. There are two ways you can build your house, two places. Either you build your house on sand or on rock. Right? The Bible is clear on that. What does it mean to build your house on sand? And then tsunami comes. What does it mean to build your house on sand? You ready? It means what is useful, what is important to you. It's a big house, beautiful furnishings, good job, beautiful cars. This is what counts to you. That's building your house on sand. Your reputation, your good name, this is all that matters to you. When you build your house on a rock, it means all you do matters eternally. Okay? You save up things that don't rot. You save up things that Jesus and God love. In other words, you live according to the Spirit of the Lord. That's building your house up on the rock. The rest you can read. It's a pretty long one.